Putin News Now Europe is trying to show Putin a united front in Moldova. On Thursday, European leaders will gather at one of the continent's most precarious strategic frontlines for a summit meant to put diplomatic pressure on Moscow. Because of its proximity to Ukraine, the European Political Community, EPC, which consists of 27 EU members and 40 of their allies but excludes Russia and Belarus, decided to hold its second summit in the tiny neighboring country of Moldova. They plan to send a message to Russian President Vladimir Putin by traveling to a location less than an hour's drive from a breakaway Moldovan region backed by Russia and not much further from war-torn Ukraine. First and foremost, moving the summit outside of Chisinau is a show of support for Moldova's EU membership bid and solidarity with the country in the face of destabilization operations by Russia. It's a chance for European countries to work together to address regional crises, whether they're already EU members, Britain, or candidates for future membership like Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron, who first advocated for the EPC, told reporters in Bratislava on the eve of the summit that, "We must also think of a wider Europe. We can't limit ourselves to thinking about Europe's security in terms of either NATO or the European Union," the author writes. Due to security concerns following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky never gives advance notice of his travel plans. Guarantees of safety. But if he accepts the EPC's invitation, he will be looking for more than just solidarity. He will be pushing for advancement in Ukraine's efforts to join both NATO and the European Union. NATO ministers, including U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, gathered at the same time as the summit in Moldova to plan the agenda for the alliance's upcoming summit. Europe is eager to show support for Ukraine while the NATO summit in Vilnius on July 11 debates how formal a promise to give Kyiv on how and when to join the alliance. Macron said that the Ukrainian military is protecting Europe by fighting Russian invaders in the country's east and south. He also argued that the allies should figure out how to provide tangible and credible security guarantees to Ukraine, while the country waits to hear back on its EU and NATO membership applications. Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of Britain, which has left the European Union but remains a member of NATO, argued that Putin's utter contempt of other countries' sovereignty demonstrated the importance of solidarity. He remarked, "We cannot address these problems without close cooperation between Europe's governments and institutions." President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, of NATO member Turkey, was recently re-elected but is not expected to attend the meeting, according to diplomats. With up to 47 invited heads of state and government, there won't be much time for a roundtable discussion, but diplomats are hopeful that smaller, more focused meetings will address substantive concerns. The leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan, Nikol Pashinyan and Ilham Aliyev, will meet thanks to Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Despite their decades-long conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh, both Yerevan and Baku have been invited to participate in the EPC as Washington and Brussels push for a peace agreement. The tensions between Serbia and Kosovo, another long-running European conflict, will be discussed, and the leaders in Pristina and Belgrade will be urged to ease tensions. Huge advancements. Finally, the summit will be an important landmark for Moldova as it makes its way from being a former Soviet republic partially occupied by Russian peacekeepers to a future in which it is fully integrated into Europe. To save our democracy from Russian interference, the summit's host, President Maya Sandu, shares the goal of starting formal EU membership negotiations this year with her counterparts in Ukraine and Georgia. On the eve of the summit, she received strong support from Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, who praised Moldova for making big progress in implementing EU-requested reforms. Moldova is located right in the middle of Europe. Europe is in Moldova. As von der Leyen put it, "Today and tomorrow, all of Europe is Moldova."